All right, I've got 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the May 22nd meeting of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. We don't have any public hearings scheduled. We know, Karis, you mentioned you'd be here. Ma'am, were you here for a public comment or just? No, I'm for. You're a constituent? She didn't need a constituency, but thank you for coming. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and roll right into new business. So the only item, or the first item we have, is a review for a shoreline permit application from Sean Demers and Amanda Walsh. The proposal intends to raise the existing non-conforming primary structure and construct a more nearly conforming structure. Proposed parcel improvements include the replacement ISDS, an existing gravel driveway modification reduction. The parcel is located at 2 North Jeb Road, tax map 6A-2, lot 172. We were provided a couple of details here. We provided two prints. Actually, we provided the two prints. I think this was late to develop because I think there was a question whether this, whether or not it needed to be on our agenda, or whether it was more, like a dredge and fill permit where we could review it and ask them to come if we wanted more information. That's certainly the case with this. We could table this and not act on it. Has everyone had a chance to review the two site plans?
Well, we
Or
are
the
limited.
existing versus the recommended?
I don't know if we are in a position to table it. We have a statutory time.
To act or, yeah, you're right.
Or to put
act
on
or
a-
say, we have concerns.
Or to trigger a 40-day hold on the review, pending our comments.
Right, and as mentioned, everything seems to be a slight improvement as far as we're concerned. Impervious
Yeah.
surface and
There was a reduction in the overall impervious surface between what is currently existing and what is proposed. A lot of that was the result of a reduction in the size of the driveway, a narrowing of the driveway. I did see that if we choose not to act on this, we probably want to have them correct paragraph 7 on on page 1, just to say no phosphorus, because a portion of this property is in the wetland setback. That's why it's non-conforming.
Paragraph 7 on page 1.
we can make it conditional, right?
We can certainly make a condition. The only question I had was, this is connected to, I didn't see it in here. This is connected to town sewer?
Individual, the IDIS stands for Individual Sewage Disposal System. That's-
And there's a setback for the well radius. So I would imagine they are not on town water.
And not going on to it.
Yeah.
'Cause they talk
Must-
about filtration system or something too, so
I don't
probably
think it
for
goes that far out.
septic.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe
if
we
we
make a
have-
caveat in there if we decide to go forward. This is the sewer. If there's an improvement to the sewer system, it needs to be brought in compliance with modern day sewer standards. I assume since it's not talked about in the print, it's probably, they're gonna use the existing sewer, even though they're raising the building.
Must be current. And if we have any comments, we should email them to Community Development, which will then submit them to DES.
Did anyone notice a date anywhere on any of the septic?
I didn't see septic in here.
I only saw it in the application where they answered a question about it. It was. This is where I saw something about pre-treating the system, but maybe that's not. Oh, yeah, septic.
See, that makes me a little nervous.
Mhm.
The sewage piece.
Proposal intends to install pre-treatment system to service the more nearly conforming primary structure, the existing septic components are currently unknown and do not have a previous construction approval or operational approval.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Is that leaching into our lake? We don't
i-
know.
i- yeah.
So basically, the existing system isn't permitted. Yeah.
What existing system?
Right, yeah, right.
Mm.
We don't know. We don't know what it is. I mean, this could be, again, who knows when this was originally built? A lot of times they just put it in the sand and it was your leach field. So. Oh, boy, what a mess.
Mm.
Yeah, it'd be nice to ask questions.
Ellen, do you know when the clock started ticking on this one?
I don't know when it was submitted to DES. It's probably on there somewhere. But what we do is communicate with ComDev, which then goes to DES. And let me see. Forgive me, I'm looking at a memo we got last November from Stephanie about how to review these permits, and this is the first one we've done since then, so I'm not smooth on the process. Conservation Commission has 14 days to provide their written comments to DES by way of ComDev, or to notify DES of the commission's intention to submit comments in the near future. Doing that triggers a 40-day hold on the review while DES awaits those comments. So if we have concerns, I recommend we send them to ComDev and ask them, could you
Okay.
let us know what the timetable is? Because what I'm hearing is that the issues are septic system, we don't know enough about it to know when the new one's going in. Improvement to the sewer must be current, and the use of phosphorus, or to make sure there's no use for phosphorus. So septic and
Yeah,
phosphorus.
okay. Ellen, do you think that's something you could send to?
I'll copy you.
Anything else on this item?
Just a clarifying question. Are we saying we need to pose these questions to community development before we provide a response to
I think so.
ES?
If I am understanding this memo from ComDev correctly, that's the case. And if I'm wrong, they'll let us know
Okay.
quickly
Yeah.
enough, because I'll get that email off tomorrow.
So I guess to your point too, if the answer is yes, we need to seek a delay. If the answer is yes, I guess we do need to seek a delay unless our next meeting, which is when?
This was submitted on the 4th.
Second Monday.
You said 40 days.
Yeah.
Let's see, we
Well,
have
this is when it's submitted, so that doesn't mean it necessarily was when the clock started, but
14 days to provide written comments. Yeah, I'm just going to send this to community development and tell
Let's
them.
see if Tim will coach us on what the right.
Yeah. I just, what I don't want to do is us being unsure, so we cause a 40-day delay
Right.
for no reason,
Understood.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'll phrase it that way. I'll say, these are our concerns, and we leave it to community development to determine if that triggers something. Would that be adequate?
I mean, that's fine with me. Again, it's, the will of the commission, right? I just don't want to needlessly
Yeah.
cause that delay, but if we need to do that, then we need to do that, right?
Well, unfortunately, we have seen, remember the place across from the fire station? That house,
Oh.
the sewage was literally
Yeah.
flowing right down
Yeah,
into the
into-
river.
Yeah.
into the river. I mean, we were lucky enough that when the owner caught it and stopped it. But that was an
Yeah.
unplanned, undocumented sewer system.
I mean, the agenda item says include a replacement ISDS, that the project includes a replacement ISDS. So I'm assuming it's in there somewhere, right?
Mm.
That's what the agenda, the description on the
Yeah.
agenda says.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I looked hard too. I blew this thing up. I didn't see anything on the notes.
They have pump, a couple of those houses have pumped septic
Yeah,
up to a leach field. So I'm if that's
and there's a well setback.
Yeah.
After staring at this, I almost was drawing the conclusion that it's connected to the town somehow. Well, it is strange that they'd get water and not sewer, though. So
maybe
we have a consensus.
Yeah,
We'll
put-
ask community development if this is something we should be worried about. If
Yeah,
they can give us an assurance that there's not, we won't let ourselves become a speed bump in this process.
right.
Well put. Next item we have under new business, Scalar Trail mapping, and Mike will present that. You should have in your packet, the map of the proposed trail names.
All right.
You want? Yep.
All right, so the subcommittee met and put this together. We had other names, but nothing came out about people and stuff like that, so we changed it to these. So it would keep Riverview and Eagle Bluff the same, which is the blue and yellow trails. It would name the connector between the south part of Eagle Bluff and Riverview. That would be Ferry Trail because it leads down from Eagle Bluff to the Cummings Ferry site. The orange trail would be Cottontail Trail. There's a lot of rabbits down there. That's where we got that. And that's an existing trail, but it's not maintained currently. The purpose for this trail would be to bypass the beginning of Eagle Bluff, which floods due to the runoff from Greeley Street. Right now it's flooded, you can't walk on that part. So that'll be a way around it.
Are you intending to close that section permanently?
It's possible. We could. Right now it's been blocked most of the time because of the water. There's nothing we can do about it because the soil there's all clay, it seems. And the last one would be Bittersweet Trail, which runs parallel to the parking lot at the entrance. And that would be more of a way for us to easily access the bittersweet infestation in that part.
That's just like, do you really want to name a trail after an invasive species?
Well, that
This way, everybody will know where to go when it's cleanup day.
well we figured it that was the number one plant on that spot, so yeah, but that's it.
So the only question I have, Mike, is, so a lot of the trails to the north are on town property.
Yes,
Yeah, and so it's probably not a problem, but they would need to know, the town needs to know if you're,
well,
get the okay with the town to put the trails there.
right, well, this one is existing already, and this part of Riverview is existing already.
Well, we
So,
want to make them official.
but this one isn't official. There's no name for it. I'm not suggesting one
Yeah.
at this time.
But any official trail, probably just,
Yeah,
the town should be.
it's just a
notified.
notification.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
okay.
Are there any other options for bittersweet besides
It can be anything.
bittersweet?
Did the subcommittee, was it down to two names?
Yeah.
Well, it was
What-
just
what was
thrown
the
out
runner-up?
there. it was just thrown out there because of the bittersweet there, and it's like, all right.
Maybe you bad bittersweet trail.
Well, that-
You don't
well,
want
I
people
mean,
to think,
I mean,
oh,
the,
this is
look,
nice.
obviously, the ultimate goal would be to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So now it's a trail named for something that's not there.
Yeah.
So
Named after a villain. You know, we'll call the next one
Riley
Used
Whiplash.
Tire Trail, or you know.
Oh my god.
I mean, I think that could be like the reward for removing the bittersweet, so you get to rename it to like Victory Trail or something.
so we have to pay to have all the maps redone and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Could name it Parallel Trail.
Parallel Trail.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone on the subcommittee was passionate about this, we don't want to.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
If
thing.
there was an
about
emotional connection that we don't get here, it just doesn't seem like we're
Yeah.
naming it after a villain.
Yeah, that's fine. It wasn't a thing of passion. It was just thrown there. Let's get out of the way and move on.
So what did you say? You
I mean, we have some really creative ones compared to woods like Link Trail.
Yeah.
So
We could-
what was your comment, Mike? Did you say the parallel trail?
Yeah, that. I mean, I can't think of anything else right now. Unless anyone else has a name.
You have like, is there wildlife that's frequently spotted down there or something? Like mallard or something?
I love that the cottontails are getting their due.
Yeah. As long as they don't eat your garden.
That's why I want them down at Sklar.
Huh.
Cottontail habitat in town.
Could be Heron Trail because there's a heron that always hangs out at the end of it.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds good.
You want to go with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Everyone happy with this? I don't know that we necessarily need a motion. I think I probably just need to take this and
Yeah, I think we probably should we got to make notification to the town that we're going to officially name those trails, and I mean, we're kind of managing this as one parcel, so.
I'll do that, and I'll make sure I get this to NRPC, who's still developing maps, and this is one of the things that we're waiting on.
I thank the subcommittee.
Yes. All right, next item on the agenda, final item under new business was the Public Works Department liaison. I put this, I added this to the agenda. So in addition to all the other things Mike's done for us throughout the course of the last 10 years, is he's kind of acted as the liaison between this commission and its subcommittees and Public Works. This is something that Public Works is kindly, you know, they're generous in the support they give us. The one thing that they have asked of us is that we just funnel our requests through one person. One person kind of receives those, you know, if we have multiple requests for a given parcel, whether it be Horse Hills, you know, group those together, make sure that we have we're providing complete information to them. You know, not just tree down on a trail, but tree down on a trail, you know, 300 yards in from this trailhead, you know, that type of detail. Group them together, make it accomplishable, making it manageable, and keep track of what got done, because I know that takes some work too. You know, we might ask, can you help with the parking lot here, and then, you know, you get a request a week later, but it's already been done. So just to prevent a waste of time and a waste of taxpayer resources, Mike's filled that role. So it would be nice to
You were before me.
engage before that. It's something when we do it, you know, it really makes it easier for the DPW to help us with those tasks. So we do need to replace or have someone else fulfill that role.
I'll do it.
You feel like you can keep up with that? Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you
Someone
for.
else is passionate about taking it.
By the way, who are the people at Public Works now? I'm a little behind, so I don't know who we're working with.
So usually it's Laurie Halverson. She leads the crews and stuff like that, and they're very responsive. Sometimes Paul McCauley will have to get involved depending on what it is, but if it's just trees, stuff like that, then just an email to Laurie. Will usually take, I mean, they've been really quick lately. Like that tree in Greater Woods, last week, it's done already. Yeah.
Good.
Um,
And we do have, Dawn Tulumba is back. She's taken the town engineer position, which is great. Good news.
Dawn.
She used to be, right?
Well,
She's director at DPW.
director of DPW, she's,
She
yeah,
was town engineer.
town engineer, so, yeah, she's back. Regardless.
So
she's
those
back,
are, those are important names
Yeah.
to know.
And what's Dawn's last name? I'm sorry.
Tulumba, don't ask me to spell it.
Oh, okay. I can get it off the website.
You're like, I'm getting it out. Before Kyle left, I actually had a quick meeting with him, impromptu meeting with him, and they have a ticketing system for requests. And we were going down the path of looking how we could submit, like, almost like a spreadsheet with all their titled heads, so they can just import it in. So I'll resurrect that and see, and catch up with Don, see if that's something we can use as a, because then you can kind of have, you know,
Yeah.
these specific items, you really can figure out what you need to make it a more foolproof.
And it's really helpful instead of getting bombarded by different people.
Yeah.
Things, get funneled like that, like Steve mentioned. And as you know, like descriptions, as he said.
Yeah.
I emailed
Yeah.
you before saying you need to know, exactly where.
One of the things I've seen other commissions do is a kind of like a mile marker thing on the trails. It's mostly for safety, but it might be useful in this.
Trees are always
Anything
flowers.
else? All right, well, that takes us to other business.
So, when's the changeover? So you wanna
we're
go-
gonna
For the next
We're
month,
gonna
you wanna, maybe
soak
include
every
you?
last ounce out of you.
Yeah. So I'll include you and introduce you, and then
Yeah.
July 1st, you'll be ready to go, okay?
Alright.
And it could be nothing happens between now and then.
There's a tree down in Scars. It's gonna be.
Okay, well,
And you'll get these types of requests from everyone. It's not one parcel. You'll have to make sure collect them from some of the subcommittee chairs will communicate them directly to you. So yeah, just be impartial with these. Just collect them, and the town does a tremendous job. None of us here would find fault with how responsive and how cooperative they've been with these things. So as you receive them, just feel free to share feedback. Like if you've got 4 different requests, and you get something from one of the subcommittee chairs, don't be reluctant to say, okay, yep, this is on the list, but there are these items in front of it, and these are of greater need.
All right.
All right, Gage, it was fantastic. How did we do with the seedling giveaway?
All right, so we purchased a total of 310 plants this year, which is a little low than what we normally get. But that was due to our purchasing abilities. So, but nonetheless, we have 17 sugar maples left. So we hit just over 94% giveaway. So it was successful. And
That was great. It was well attended.
Yeah.
We definitely got the word out. A lot of the people felt like they saw or read about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I felt like there were a lot of people that had never been to it before. Where in previous years we were, with the feedback has been, oh, day before Mother's Day, every year I come out here.
Yeah.
This year there was a lot of newcomers.
It was good to see families with young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a couple of them came in and told the kids, "You pick the trees," and they'd go where to plant.
We
That's
still have some people that are upset that they don't see it in the paper.
Paper.
Yeah,
What paper?
exactly. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Now I get one in my driveway every morning.
Okay, how about next year I send a press release to the Union
so-
Leader Sunday News? We can do that.
Yeah. And well, because we have done it before, and and we got one year we got kind of inundated with non-Merrimack
That's an
people.
issue.
So
There's the risk.
that's kind of when we started, like, let's try to see, it's the patch was starting to come up, and there was some local, like the Bulletin and things like that. So we tried to restrict our announcement. So I think it's just going to be a little bit of a balancing act to get those.
I wonder, one place we could advertise this where Merrimack residents would see it? We could put it on the billboard at the transfer station
Yes, we could.
the
Yep.
week before.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
that's
the
right.
liaison to DPW would make a note and we ask DPW for
That's a
that
hot
next year.
spot.
They have a digital billboard there now too.
Yep. We could probably just give them the picture. They could put the picture up.
I want to thank everybody who shared the social media posts we put up. Gina Rosati had a lot to do with that. She and I put our heads together and just threw it out to all the 85 forums that there are. We figure there's probably overlap of about the same 500 people, and if those 500 people heard it over and over again, we'd get 100 of them, and I think we did. Because an hour and a half into it, we pushed out another Facebook, and we had 6 people within half an hour. So thank you for everybody who spread it.
Yeah, and the email I sent out about it was just nothing more than a screenshot. You guys weren't missing anything. It was just for whatever reason, it didn't attach to the town mail. So that's what you missed. It looked just like that.
Oh, okay.
And thank you, Gage, for sending those records of what's been done in the past for
Sure.
orders and for flyers. So we've got that for the next time.
You were able to get the link
Yep.
for the list of all of them.
Mhm.
Anything else on seedlings?
I've got sugar maples if anyone wants them.
I did it again. I was home planting after the giveaway again this year. And I'm not doing it next year.
Yeah, I keep saying that every year.
All right, I guess that brings us to the annual meeting portion. First item we have there is priority setting to include feedback from the subcommittees. This is something I hope this is helpful that we added that this year. We did reach out to all the subcommittees. I did get something from Horse Hills. I don't know if any of the MCC reps got other feedback. I assume you have something, Mike. I don't know if we got something from Greater Woods or
We know Wildcat wants to work on parking.
yeah. Do we want to start with the subcommittees? Capture their priorities first. The idea was we not spend a whole lot of time on this, but we could. I think it's important. We just we have so many things we want to do. If each of us had 2 or 3 things that we felt like were most important for the coming year, the remainder of 2023 and 2024, it at least gives us an azimuth by which we can walk along. Who would like to start? Want me to start with Mark's feedback?
Please, I can't
Mark
read it
from-
and take notes at the same time.
Yep, Mark from Horse Hills. I'll start with his. I promised I'd share this, and Eric, if you'd rather share it, you can.
No, you can do it.
Okay. We just got this late today. Just some areas, and basically the way I phrased the question to him and the other chairpersons of the subcommittees was, where focus on, we know that, trail maintenance, those sorts of things are obviously priorities for them for the coming year. I kind of asked it like, what things could this commission be most instrumental, or where would you need our support? Much like the town council asks us that same question every October when we go before them. So some of the things he felt like would be helpful is recruiting. He said they struggle at times just to have quorum at their meetings. They've had some folks that have retired, moved, spending more of the year in Florida than they are up here, and have left the committee. He knows that we're probably in contact with more people, some people who live near Horse Hills, some that might not live near Horse Hills, but could become interested in joining the subcommittee. So he just asked that we continue to get that word out on their behalf.
Now, every once in a while, we get an email from someone who's interested in a subcommittee. Do those connections get made?
I don't know that they always have.
If it's sent to Merrimack Outdoors, I don't know if the subcommittee liaison forwards them or not. I can start making a point
Yeah.
of pinging, whoever's the.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of
SBC
assumed
link.
like whoever the liaison
Right.
on this commission, if they saw that someone interested in that subcommittee would
Respond.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I ignored you.
Yeah, I know you. I personally, I have always done a terrible job doing, using those as opportunities to introduce ourselves and do recruiting. I've only got it once right, and that's when I invited Karis to join us tonight. So
I've been tending only to the general ones and not sending them to committees, but I will make
Yeah.
sure to forward it. So if
Yep.
you see something in your box twice from me, that's why.
volunteers reaching out. Yeah.
We did for a while, town council was during their meetings would step up and, during their introductions or starting the meeting, would just say, we have openings on these boards, if people are interested, please contact.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick little blurb. I'm not sure if they're still, I don't know, they still doing that? Do you know, Ann?
I don't recall that we went over that list for a while, but I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
It's probably something,
We
I'm
just
sure there's other committees in town that could benefit.
Yeah,
from that.
exactly. It was not just MCC. It was, hey, these are the committees we have in town. There's openings. Please, if you're interested,
I'll
what
bring
town
that up to
website.
Paul.
Right.
That was somebody from that expressed interest in Horse Hill like a couple of months ago.
Yes, and we have not had follow-up from him. Mark Gagnon has reached out, and we have the contact information, so we hope that will eventually work out so that person can work with us, but we haven't had any follow-up from him.
Another one of the areas Mark and Horse Hills thought we might be able to help would be just in some kind of a manual as they get newer members, and hopefully they'll get more of them. He said it might be helpful if there was some kind of manual, some SOP, something that could help them, how to facilitate meetings. And when I got this feedback from him, I realized, one, maybe we should invite the subcommittees to send a member to the NHACC every year. They can't send the entire subcommittee, but we have enough that we could bring along with us. There's usually 2 or 3 of us that go. We could have one of them tag along. And we've also gotten some pretty good, I think they've come from that event, but we've gotten some pretty good training tools. Like there was that fantastic, Stephanie found it somewhere, a fantastic right to know rules and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I certainly haven't shared any of that, cascaded any of those training tools to the subcommittees. And maybe the reps are sharing those things, but if we're not, that would be an area we could help them accomplish what he's asking.
Now, if a subcommittee member wants to attend the NHACC meetings, we are members and therefore they would be covered, correct?
Yep. I don't see why not.
Yep.
And the final thought he had was maybe just, I think the feedback, I got the sense the feedback was consistent. I think maybe they feel left in the dark, especially when we've had small agendas and we haven't had meetings. I don't know that maybe something like that warrants, just giving them that feedback. It could come from any one of us. It probably is best, if presented from those committee reps. But I think certain things like that, I don't know, maybe there's a time where we get to where we have a quarterly newsletter or something that we send out to the subcommittees. But he just said, it wasn't an area for improvement. It certainly wasn't a shot at, how you're, giving them feedback in any way. But it was just,
I know one
sorry.
thing that was,
It was just,
that's been a concern is beaver policy, which I believe we have something in writing.
we do.
And it's just getting that through. I need to share that effectively because there's one particular spot in Horse Hill right now that's got beaver problems. And I know it'll be the first thing we talk about when we have our subcommittee meeting next week. And I know there are things we can do, but things we can't do. And we need to be clear on that.
Right. Yeah.
Where do you find that?
It's on the website.
It's on the website.
It's
gonna
on the
say
left
something?
side of the page.
Oh, you like you had your hand up there before.
Yeah.
One thing we started working on, this is going back now a while, Sharon and I were working on, was trying to get a list of all of the emails and phone numbers for all the subcommittee members. Not so it's gonna be public, but so we could get like you know, an email blast out, so to speak, to say, hey, this is what's going on. And it just, you know, when Sharon left, it kind of, I left from the chair and just kind of petered out. So maybe that'd be worthwhile, just to get all the subcommittee addresses.
I
Yeah.
think
Because then we
Stephanie's doing
can,
that.
and I think because she has a good list of people's names and when I was down the other day, so she may already have it. And it might be worthwhile, we can have some type of monthly or quarterly
Yeah.
blast out to everybody, just saying, hey, this is what's going on, here are the things we're working on, and
That would certainly, I think they would appreciate that. I'm
Yeah.
always gun shy about sending any kind of email blast out like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want there to be replies, and you know, it's too bad we don't have a do not reply email or something, you know, that you can't reply to. I just don't want to start that meeting
no,
via email.
right, no, I know, I understand what you're saying, but
And people
we
with
can-
good intentions might
yeah,
be
but you can-
tempted to
you
do
can-
that.
You can BCC everybody on it and send it out,
Oh,
and no one,
no one, okay.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the way to do it then. I'll talk to my IT guy. Who would like to go next?
I'll do it. Number one on the list was repairing that historical bridge. It's been underwater twice this year. Pretty interesting. I believe it was left off at that meeting that we had with DPW and everyone else. So,
is that the one that's in the woods? It's like beyond the road when you drive in
it's
there?
parallel to
Yeah,
the bridge.
The stone one?
Yeah.
yeah, we went over that with.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. DPW was
Spent
not,
quite a bit of time on there. It would require wetlands
it
Yeah.
would
permits and
require a
everything else
complete
to.
wetlands permit DES review. But that was what DPW said as far as I remember, Kyle at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the action from that? If you could remind me, what's the next step?
I really don't know.
We'd have to go submit a permit to try to rebuild the bridge. I mean, they didn't even want to put riprap or anything down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember what the follow-up action was
Yeah.
Mhm.
to make something come of that.
Yeah, it's a shoreland protection request.
Yeah. And I was concerned with even a patch like riprap. He was worried
Yeah, he
if you've
said
done it
that.
wrong, you're going to just cause it to erode at a quicker rate than
Yeah.
it's already.
That's exactly what happened over the Severance Bridge. They put all the riprap in, and it ate away at the,
You
at the embankment.
redirected the water
Yeah.
at the weakest points.
So that's on us whether we want to pursue that, because that's going to be a expensive, long process. There's a lot of impact.
It's good to know. I mean, that's something the
Yeah.
Scholar is still, passionate about. The subcommittee, as soon as this feedback's coming from them. So I guess the next step probably is to make sure that the subcommittee understands that is the obstacle, and just,
Yeah,
there is a
it's-
significant financial cost to doing that sort of repair.
Yeah.
Not to say there's not an appetite for doing that, but is that the best use of
Yeah, what's the historical significance of that bridge? It's just old, or is it?
I don't know the age. I don't know anything about it. It looks old.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be a driver if it's got some type of real significance versus someone.
I know we had an engineer down there, and I asked Kyle, I said,
Yeah.
just the culverts themselves, I said, were these poured in place or were they preformed culverts? And he said, he showed me the seam on them. He said, these are preformed culverts. So that kind of gives you an idea how old and how historic that bridge is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's older than I am. Does that make it historic though? Maybe not. Because if it had been poured in place, then it would really be an old bridge.
Yeah. Is there any way we could kind of stabilize it to prevent it from falling apart further without actually, reforming the area?
You're back to getting
Yeah.
DPW down there to assess what they can and can't do, or DES maybe. And find
Probably
out,
DES.
yeah,
Yeah.
find out what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
All right. The next thing was entrance sign.
I would start with, I'm sorry, don't, but I would start with Dawn. She did all the work on the bridge over by the schools. She's very familiar with
And who's that?
the Dara Bridge, the Dara Bridge that we replaced.
Yeah.
She was the project engineer on it. She did all that work, so she'd be a good place to start.
What's her name?
Dawn Palumbo, she runs our, she's the director.
TUOMALA, I think.
She runs the town DPW.
Yeah, the second thing was a entrance sign of some sort. Right now there's no sign at all, so it's just a turning. Third thing is funding for maintenance, such as mowing and invasive removal. It being in a floodplain, the plants and grass grow very quickly. And there's a lot of ticks down there. There's stinging nettle, poison ivy. And we've been mowing it just to make it safer for walkers and us. So it's about $50 a mow, and we do it every 3 weeks.
Those are good. Those did those come from your last meeting? Was it?
They just send it to me. I put it out.
Okay.
So the fourth thing would be a railing or some sort of a rope that people can grab onto to pull themselves up the what's now ferry trail. There's a section that between Eagle Bluff and Riverview Trail. It's a steep drop, and the trail kind of climbs up steep. It's a bit hazardous when there's leaves on it. So we were thinking of just 4x4 posts, maybe 3 of them, with a rope attached to them.
So that's something when you are ready to do it, you probably would have to come up with a materials list and stuff and have it approved by the commission and then the subcommittee.
Are there any options to rebuilding the trail? Maybe adding some switchbacks or something like that? If we have people that are going that straight up.
It is a steep.
Yeah, I mean, is there some way we could add some switchbacks or something to make it a little bit more? Because if we're gonna advertise a trail, and then we're telling people it's dangerous,
Right.
I don't think might not exactly our best
Yeah.
plan.
There's a similar.
Yeah,
This has a similar hill. I mean, not similar, but
it's on Gateway Hill.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a rough hill.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is steeper though and more washed, more soft, sandy.
And are people scrambling up it? I'm not familiar with this
Where
one.
That's Gateway Hill is rocky. This is
Says
sandy.
it's
Sandy.
Yeah. Well, it's that whole area is sand.
Yeah.
It's all river silt. Is there any way to add like a switchback to it, or it's kind of?
it would require it's a steep bank. It'd be. I wouldn't even know
It would be
where
hard.
to start. I mean, it's possible, but
It'd be hard.
Yeah, I mean you'd have to if. Because we're kind of lucky we're in the woods. I mean, when we benched those trails, we cut them into the side so you could walk along. There's so much growth up there that they solid back up pretty quick. But if you've got any kind of grass growth or anything like that, we might be able to ledge them.
I think that's kind of the value in doing this tonight too. Is
Yeah.
we've heard from the subcommittee and from Mike what there's a potential problem. The intent was never that we're going to secure some of these tonight, but certainly next time I know next time I'm down at Scholar,
Yeah,
I'm going to go looking for this just so I can. So next time we talk about it, I can visualize it.
Yeah, the biggest issue would be, permission to dig there. I know there's a restriction on doing that. The parking
That was,
Are you saying the restriction in the deed or just the restriction because we're within the wetlands?
deed.
I think.
Maybe
I think
both.
trails are exceptional.
I thought, yeah, because I thought that was passive recreation. I thought that was gonna be considered,
Yeah.
trail building would be.
Huh. All
Yeah,
right.
we'd have, well, I mean, you should investigate it. It's a good point. We should investigate it, but I
Yeah.
don't, as long as we're not in there with heavy equipment, things like that, it should be. Because we don't let people dig in Greater Woods, but we can still go up there and fix trails and that type of work, so. That's a similar deed restrictions, I would think.
And the last thing is kind of turning our so Sklar has too many volunteers. We advertise everything we do on that Facebook page, and it attracts a lot of attention. And we have a new person that applied to join, and another person waiting for an opening. And we also have several people on our email list we started just to keep in touch with them and let them know of events. I think it would be a good idea to kind of put that into a more central volunteer email list, just to, you know, once a quarter or something, put out a notification, hey, these are the volunteer opportunities, here's the openings, you know.
any of them live near Horse Hill?
I don't know.
Why don't you figure that out? And if they do, give him Mark on these, get in touch with him.
We did have on the website a repository for email addresses. I don't know how to get to it anymore. That would be, but I can, isn't Stephanie kind of running the website a little bit now?
That's-
So, yeah, so maybe she can find that, because that might, you've got, anyway, if it's emails like that, that's exactly what it was for. We could collect people's who are interested. Collect their contact info.
All right. Well, that was helpful, Mike. Thank you.
Wildcat?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's an ongoing thing that the solution really hasn't been found for, but is parking at Wildcat. There is, I know Andrew Joyne has scouted out an area which possibly could be expanded, that stays out of the wetlands. So that's something that he would have to, like, maybe DPW or, you know, Don or somebody would have to look at it and see if it was feasible. But the weekends, it's always overflow at Wildcat on the weekends. So it's an ongoing, it's not a new problem, but it's, you know, it's something that gets talked about at every meeting. And they came here and talked about it.
Yep.
So if we could try to find some way to get even like a dozen more parking spaces in there, it would be helpful.
Could we move the wetland? Fill in that part
I
and
think
create it somewhere else?
so.
Something that's certainly worth getting some opinions.
No, we
Putting
have
it on
those-
an agenda a couple months from now and revisit it, I guess.
We have those diagrams that Andrew brought with, you know, several proposals. Can those be run by Public Works for just a once-over feasibility?
I'll mention that to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, one was a bridge, right? I mean, the bridge over
Yeah.
parking at the ball field.
There were three. It was simple, not so simple. And
Well, I mean, but
You know, that's a dream.
you know, look, when we first put the bridge over the Mills Marauders, that was a complete dream until we found a bridge for free. So
You never know.
Yeah.
you never know. You know, we won't ever find it if we're not looking. So
Yeah. But in the meantime, they need something that can help in the near future. You know,
Yeah, it's a difficult balance there where
do we
there's a
have,
need for more or demand for more parking. There's also demand from the neighbors not to create more disruption,
Right.
more headlights, more.
is there any update at all on the town center committee and the center trail, the town center trail that they were building?
I don't.
Yeah, but I can't remember it. I was at the last meeting. Something about a tunnel and them trying to preserve it because they're redoing the highway right there, or a bridge.
Oh, yeah, there's the sluiceway that goes under by the fire department.
Yeah.
And that's,
Mhm.
once that, if that ever comes to fruition, then you could be parking in Watson Park and get into Wildcat.
So
Yeah, but people still,
we accepted a grant for that and funded our 20% of that. So that is going to happen,
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
that piece of it.
The Lewis,
Yes.
Do we have any,
With the boardwalk through the wetlands there.
yeah,
Yeah.
is there any timetable?
I do not know the time.
and will that
20
physically join up with Wildcat? Maybe once we get that state land in between,
Well,
right?
the state land's still usable. We have an
Yeah.
easement to.
We have an easement to it, so it can't be blocked off.
Mhm.
But it connects up with the back of the high school, and so
Definitely helps.
it's on the right side of the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meantime, the parking's like still going.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah, oh, absolutely, but I'm saying it's.
It's not
you know,
gonna be
it's-
ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's no easy.
What else, Mike? Anything else?
That was the primary thing. I mean, they need, there's some erosion problem on the loop, Falls Loop Trail. You were copied on that. So, and we mentioned trying to get riprap before and trying to get some from through the town.
Mhm.
Yeah, still working on that.
Thank you. Okay, Jane.
Yeah, Greater Woods, obviously, the typical maintenance work. We've had not complaints, we've had comments. We've got an awful lot of structures out there now, benches and outlooks and such. A couple of them, we've coated the top of the wood with that poly paint that really soaks in, becomes quite hard. And it seems to have done a good job. So that was one of the items that it's expensive. It's, just $7,500 a gallon. So that's one thing we're just gonna go start measuring surface areas and see what we could do to get some of that and maybe harden up and keep some of these benches from falling apart and rotting. But that was really our big, beyond the typical maintenance, that's really all we got. Because I'm going to be coming to you, well, probably to you, Mike, because it's going to be happening sooner than later. But we need to have need to have Gateway Trail mowed again.
Should probably put that in before.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Why don't they
Yeah.
ask for that? Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's gotten to the point because it didn't happen last year. So we got trees out there that are
I think it's 3 years.
yeah. It's been they're 2-3 inches big, and
Uh,
you're not taking down with a sickle bar anymore.
And that would be Lori, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll send something out to her.
All right. Thank you.
I guess that's all the feedback from the subcommittee. We'd like to go around the room and just, 2 or 3 items that, if you've given us some thought and you had 2 or 3 items you thought were of higher interest than all the other important things we're doing. You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. I had 3. One is tax map 5C lot 659. So that's the 20 or 50 so acre parcel that abuts Wildcat Falls and the Everett Turnpike. There's no solution that would then for us to receive that parcel from the state. It'll probably be a 5-year project, but now is the time we really need to start watching for those dredge and fill permits and continue to suggest, and Tim Tenave's helped us on this. And Paul's given us a lot of help. Now is the time where, as these different phases of the FE Everett Turnpike widening are occurring, where we could continue to remind the state that in lieu of a substantial check that they would have to write to the ARM fund for those wetland mitigations, this would be a prime candidate. And it's roughly 50 acres that abuts Wildcat Falls. It protects the Souhegan River. It's important for a number of reasons. So, I thought that was one of my personal priorities. To keep an eye on that and not miss the opportunity, because we may have missed a window of opportunity, but there are going to be others because there are 3 more phases that take place here in Merrimack. The other one, we've talked about this in previous years, but just maintaining that punch list, that punch list of projects collectively, when someone comes to us, whether it be, they can be of various sizes and scope. If a scout comes to us and is looking for that, project, it would be nice if we could provide them some solutions. I sometimes feel like they come to us, and we don't have the appropriate size project for them. So I think having that would be important, and some of greater magnitude too. Who was it? The New Hampshire Conservation Commission was looking. They had hitches, those 6-person, 10-day or 11-day hitches. Every fall they come to us, or the last 2 falls they have, and they've looked for projects. You can propose to them. It can be invasive species control. It can be tackling some of these tougher trail type challenges we have, where swales and switchbacks are needed to do it right. They've done a number of projects down in Nashua, and they even told us where those were, sent us pictures. Having that punch list of things that we can provide to them when they ask, if we're willing to spend the kind of money, because you do have to pay them. But I think that's something we should continue to do more of in the following year. And the last thing, I think there's an opportunity to further collaborate and partner more closely with the schools. I mean, and this wasn't a great idea I had. I just noticed we've had some tremendous success doing this in the last couple of years. The middle school had the photography walking group. I know we shared some pictures on the MCC email. They did a great job. It got them out. It got them to know our property. That's right next to the, Greater Woods, right next to the middle school. And we also had the UNH doctor student, Andrew, I can't think of his last name. Remember, he did a multi-year study here as part of his PhD project on all of our parcels, and really taught us a lot about what's on them. I think, that opportunity quickly could have moved into Milford or Amherst. We owe it to Gina, who engaged with him pretty tenaciously as soon as he reached out and said, "Oh no, you need these properties." And we kind of lured him in. We trapped him so he could come in and do that whole study on those fur bearers, but that yielded dividends. I just want, I'm going to remain keenly focused to make sure we don't miss a opportunity like that. And the last one, we had the Merrimack High School planted of a lot of seedlings. I don't know if it was part of their senior service project or whatever. That was just spring of 2022. We didn't do that this year, but I think we should continue to engage with that demographic. Those were my 3.
I just have a comment. So Karen Labonte from Wildcat Falls, she did reach out to the high school, see if they had an interested student who wanted to join that subcommittee. I don't know if she got a response or not.
Who would like to go next? Someone has.
No, I'll be quick. I was looking only at Greater Woods because it's obviously right close to me when I walk up there. We were very engaged with them for a long period of time with the science department and the biology department. And that's definitely something that it worked well because they were taking care of the loop trail. I don't know if you remember, go up there, there's little signs up there, pollinators, and and that's really kind of just it's kind of gone by the wayside now. So it might be worthwhile, instead of trying to engage with the schools, maybe engage with the school board and see if we can get them more involved and have it come from above.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be, that's what's probably going to be a little easier.
That's the most effective path.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So I can reach out to some of them and see what their appetite was for that.
Now that
I know you have some ideas.
I talk too much. Now that we know what the boundaries of Fields Farm are and are not, it's time to think about formal access,
That's a great idea.
parking.
Forming a actual
Yeah,
subcommittee.
subcommittee, that was the big thing.
Yeah.
What is the property now that that is defined?
Yeah.
We need to get a handle on it, figure out where the public gets access, figure out how to work with how and if to work with the trails that are there. Yeah. Fields Farm.
Only one, Ellen? Someone's gonna have more than one. I feel greedy now. Cindy.
I will probably not be on the commission, so I didn't come up with anything.
Oh my goodness.
If I knew you were gonna call me out, I would have, no, kidding.
Calling everyone out. Andy? You're
So-
entitled to 10 because you're.
Well, so I don't have any ideas, but I will second your punch list idea. As we sit on the town council, all of the Boy Scouts, they come to present their ideas to get approval from the town council. And oftentimes I see ideas and I'm thinking to myself, the entrance sign to Sklar, things like that. Those would be perfect projects for the Boy Scouts, and they're right in line with some of the projects that they always do. So I think if we had a ready-made punch list, and so when they called, we could say, yeah, we've got these 5 projects. You can take your pick, any one that interests you. I think you're going to have a lot more takers. And they go off and do the fundraising as part of their project. It's a really good way to get things done on some of these properties, and it helps the Boy Scouts out too, because they're out there actively looking for these projects. So I really like the idea of a punch list.
Just a quick follow up on what Danny's talking about. We've had one project up that was done by the Girl Scouts, but now they go by Scouts now. They don't want to, but whatever. There's no need for it to only be the boys out there. They
It
can.
was the selfie stands, right?
Oh no. Well, no, they came out and did maintenance in Greater Woods. They built a couple fixed a couple bridges for us. So it was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I mean, the kids that come in front of us, they're not all boys.
Yeah.
I mean, there's girls that come out there for projects as well. So that's a good point.
It was just the one.
Just the one. You made me think of it when you said punch list, and I was thinking, what a brilliant idea.
I don't really have anything original to say, I don't think. But a couple of years back, I did do some more intense research than normal on the Wildcat Falls parking situation. I think there is a chance that you'll be able to expand that parking lot by maybe 50% capacity without eliminating any wetlands or species of concern. I did a little survey of the I don't even know what you would call it, the wooded area opposite of the wetland.
That must be what Andrew found.
Yeah, and there's no endangered species that I noticed in there. The only problem with that would be that it might be abutting too close to the neighbors, and they might take issue with a parking lot coming too close to their fence. But I did look into that. You might be able to expand the parking lot, just not a lot. And also to comment on getting the schools involved. Yeah, I mean, I always want to get the schools involved. A couple of years back, we did, I tried to reach out. I never got any feedback. I think there are a lot of opportunities from like both a trail maintenance standpoint and just a scientific standpoint, because my idea was sort of an internship type of thing for science students in high school, mainly because as someone who did major in science going to college, I was like left totally unprepared of what science was by high school's scientific courses. So I always thought teaching high school students and preparing them more for college science courses was something that we could do. But again, that was a couple of years ago. I never really got any feedback from the schools on that. But so yeah, I don't really have anything original to add, just comments on what's already been said.
I think we should do more events like Earth Day event, something for that. Maybe organize a litter cleanup, planting, something like that. Highlighting what volunteers do. It's been very successful for SCLAR, especially attracting people to join it. And something with education for the public, like identifying invasives, how to take care of them, stuff like that.
It's a good one. I got that note. Anyone else? No? All right, move on to the next item. Lost my- All right, the next item is review the Conservation Commission rules of procedure. This is a standard segment every year of our annual meeting. This isn't the only time we can do it. We can do it throughout the year, but we should, at a minimum, do it at this meeting. Did anyone have suggestions for modification, clarification, anything else of the rules of procedure
I swear we just did this.
Last July.
last July? I had one I thought maybe we should think about. And that was the it's potentially amending Article 4. Article 4 is membership. So I think it was Gina that pointed this out to me, that Parks and Recreation, they designate, and I can read it to you, in addition to their 4 regular members, they shall be recommended the Merrimack, or let's see, let me skip through some of this. There shall be at least one voting member from each of the following organizations: the Merrimack Youth Association, the Senior Citizen Club, the school board, and a representative from the Merrimack High School student body. Such organization members shall be recommended by their organization and approved by the town council. They will then be appointed to 1-year terms. I just thought I'd bring this up, that maybe we should do something similar to that and reserve one of our alternate positions for a member from the Merrimack High School. We would have to also adjust the portion of our rules of procedure that says all our terms are going to be 3-year terms. Obviously, we wouldn't want, it wouldn't be possible. We're probably going to get a senior or a junior. We're certainly not going to get someone that's going to spend 3 years with us. It would probably be an abbreviated term. It might mirror the school year. It's one we wouldn't be able to fill till October. But we do have, we've, and I don't want to jinx us, but we've remained full. So to earmark one of those alternate positions for a member from the high school, it might be a nice way to us to more, have closer collaboration, better engagement with the school.
Again, like Gage had mentioned, that might be something could be approached to the school board.
That's a great idea. It's that easy. I didn't have to sell it. Do it.
We should just double check with the town to make sure that there's nothing in the charter that is
That
going to
prohibits
conflict
us.
with that. I mean, I think it's a great idea. We
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
Make sure we're
obviously there has to be
covered.
interest.
If they're already doing it for Parks and Rec, I would think that we should be able to
Mhm.
kind of get on the back of that.
And even if there was, I'll certainly, we'll get feedback from community development, unless someone objects to that idea.
Question.
Mhm.
Can we just add alternates?
No, I think by charter, we're limited. But within the charter, we can recode one or redesignate one, I think. I mean, let's let Tim Thompson, the experts, give us that feedback, whether or not, how we approach that. There may need to be a caveat that it be a non-voting member to allow us to have someone under the age of under the age of 18. I don't know. But if there's no objection, I'll go ahead and I'll ask those questions. We'll table this and approve these, make a motion to approve these rules of procedure during our next gathering. Was there anything else? Any other feedback on the rules of procedure?
That's a good add.
Next item is,
Do we need a motion to table those until the next meeting?
I
That
guess
way
we
we can
probably
break them
do.
up.
don't we? Yeah. That is
What's the
right
date of the next meeting? Do we know?
way. May.
Like June 12th?
June 12th.
Yeah,
June 12th.
So
Mm,
are you ready to entertain a motion?
yes.
I'd like to make a motion to table the review of the Conservation Commission rules and procedures until our follow-on meeting on June 12th.
Second.
Motion by Andy, second by Mike Drew. All those in favor?
Oh, no, not
What?
second. I'm
Oh.
not seeing.
Second by Gage.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Any, need any other discussion?
Did you get Mike to be a?
No, we don't
No,
need
no.
to. We-
Okay, oh, we got,
Mhm.
okay.
I'm so used to it.
All those in favor? All right, that motion is tabled. Thank you. We'll share that feedback at the next meeting. Annual election, chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary. Who'd like to start discussion? So
Well,
there's been some horse trading.
Should we just make a motion to nominate Steve for the chair?
Motion by Cindy,
second.
second by Gage.
If you
Further
choo-
discussion?
So choose to accept.
I'm honored. I'd be happy to do another year.
One more
Year.
year.
Yeah.
Just
One,
one.
O-N-E, parentheses, the numeral, one.
Thank you, Stephen.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? Motion carries 6-0 and I'll abstain.
I always voted for myself. Just want to know.
Give yourself that extra vote of confidence. Maybe I should try that.
He might be unanimous.
I want to be unanimous. It made me feel more confident. I liked it.
Eric approached me and was enthusiastic about taking the reins because Mike's going to move on to greener pastures and other endeavors. And we appreciate him doing allowing himself to be talked into this role for the last couple of years. But I'll go ahead and nominate Eric to be the vice chair.
Second.
Second by Cindy. Any further discussion? We're not even giving Eric a chance to back out of this.
Yes, just give us a nod, Eric. It's okay. You're not. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
I'll make a motion to nominate Ellen for the secretary for another year.
motion by
She
Cindy,
will,
I'll
so-
second that.
She will so accept.
When
Please,
she,
I'll accept
she,
one
she
more.
can't accept, she's busy writing.
Busy writing.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Did anybody second that, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna get away.
All right, that brings us to the last item under annual meeting. Member assignments to subcommittee, 1-year term. All right, so in the packet is some
Subcommittee
feedback.
appointments.
The subcommittee appointments. Let me skip that one. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, let's skip one. Thank you, Mike. Subcommittee appointments. All right, so I think everyone got in their feedback. There was some, we've struggled with this in the past. So Stephanie has provided us some support
Good
on this,
feedback.
on how we do this and how we make the motion and how we do these appointments. So we want to start with Greater Woods.
Sure. We can do all 4 people at once?
I think we
Read their-
can, right?
Read their terms and read
I think we
them all
can.
in?
If the motion is read in that way.
Okay.
Who would like to make a motion on behalf of Greater Woods?
I will move, tell me if I get this wrong, the following appointments be made to the Greater Woods Subcommittee. Gage Perry as MCC representative with a term to expire June 30th, 2024. Mike Boisvert as full member, term to expire June 30th, 2026. Amy Woods as a full member, term to expire June 30th, 2026. And Paul Labrie, full member, term to expire June 30th, 2024.
I second. Any further discussion? Actually, with all of these, we're appreciative of their continued desire, everything they've done and their desire to continue doing that. So without any further discussion, all those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
You can read them all?
I could. You get tired of
Please
reading
do.
them.
You did so well.
I move that we make the following appointments to the Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee. Ellen Kolb as MCC representative with a term to expire June 30th, 2026. Eric Starr as MCC representative with a term to expire June 30th, 2024. Sorry, Justin. Lynn Wenz as a full member, term to expire June 30th, 2026. And Timothy Adams as alternate member, term to expire June 30th, 2024.
I'll second. All-
My only question is, if you're a representative, isn't that just a 1-year term?
They're supposed to be 1-year terms. Apparently, some of these are in here so that when a term expires, something else will, it's to set us up so that future appointments will be for 1 year. I think they don't want everybody leaving at once.
Well, so are you gonna, because you were a full member of Forest
Yes.
Hill. So are you renewing your full membership, or are you just because the MCC
There's
representative,
2 MCC representatives.
but that's just a 1-year term no matter what? So if they're, are you
I will,
doing both then? Is this, are we appointing you as a full member and an MCC representative?
yes,
Okay.
as I understand it.
Okay.
And I just, my term as the MCC representative on Horse Hill Nature Preserve ended last June. I haven't been a member for the past year. So I didn't know I was going to be on this list.
Yeah, okay.
on
Oh.
the agenda.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that you had taken over as the MCC representative.
So tell me what you think of being on here. Should you be part of the motion, or I can amend the motion?
No,
Whatever works.
yeah, no, I don't really have the time to be on the Horse Hill subcommittee.
I will amend my motion to remove Eric's name from the Horse Hill Subcommittee.
I second as amended. Good catch, Cindy.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
I move that,
I have a request.
Sure.
That we not put all of these together.
okay, thank you.
We-
I will use the language on here then for individually. I move for the Sklar Subcommittee that Michael Druin be the MCC representative with a term to expire June 30th, 2024.
I'll second. Would you like to discuss?
Yes, and I don't do this lightly. I will be voting no for Commissioner Druin to stay as the MCC rep because I don't feel he is abiding by the decisions of the MCC or his oath to do proper utilization and protection of the natural resources and protection of the watershed resources of the town of Merrimack per RSA 36A2. And by not adhering to those, we're putting the town at risk of legal action. And I actually would be voting no for Commissioner Trippett to stay on as well. The reasons are the same. That's why I'm bringing it up now. I understand he's not here to respond, so, you know, we could push it off, but they're our only link to the Scholar. You're both commissioners, and you're the chair and the vice chair, and the MCC rep. And we've made decisions here that are not being followed. I do appreciate all the work that you've done and that the subcommittee has done. I'm not saying anything about the subcommittee because they're just following your direction and Commissioner Trippett's direction, because you are the link between us and them. And this has to do with the parking and driving cars right next to the river, is why I brought this up. But I appreciate everything the subcommittee does. I know there's been a lot of work that has gone on down there. I know everybody has spent a lot of time. So I do appreciate that. I just feel like this is something that, in order to uphold my oath, I have to bring it up. So we had a discussion and a vote on April 4th, 2022 about the Scholar. Remember, we had multiple plans about parking and everything that happened, or to decide where they were going to park. There was a unanimous vote to block off vehicle access next to the river, basically. You and Commissioner Trippett wanted to be able to do the circle, to drive in, pull up, and fish right there, or leave your car there. We all discussed it. It was voted down, and that was supposed to be blocked off. Discussion continued on follow-up meetings. So on June 20th, 2022, there was a special meeting at Scholar with the town manager and the DPW director. And again, we talked about, okay, how are we going to block this off? Or we're so close to the river. The town manager suggested asking the town attorney to review the deed. On July 11th, so that was done, and on the meeting on July 11th, it was stated that the town attorney had reviewed the deed and advised that it was his interpretation that vehicle parking and boat trailer parking at Scholar would violate Section 1, Page 3 of the deed. Therefore, the April 4th vote was reconsidered and voted down, the one where we said, okay, park here, but you can't park here. That was voted down, and a vote to move the rocks to block access to the parking lot was approved unanimously. And Commissioner Druin and Trippett were both voting members at that meeting. So they both voted in agreement that the parking lot we couldn't use that parking lot that's there, can't go down to the river. So they were both in agreement with that. Commissioner Druin even asked about revegetating the existing parking lot. Good idea, because how else are you going to keep people from going there? So I noticed on the Facebook page on April 12th, 2023, a year later now, that cars were parked by the river, and I have a printout of that. I will give to Steve. And Commissioner Trippett's actually in one of the pictures. And this is being posted on the Facebook page, so it's encouraging people to park here and to go there, which we, as a board, said no. The town said no. The town attorney said, no, you can't do this. And then there's a posting below that posting that said, a response was posted, "You can pull down now, sweet." So obviously that's not correct. That's, you can't pull down there, but it's being put on this Facebook page that evidently does have a lot of traffic because you're getting volunteers. There was another posting on May 13th, which shows cars parked in that parking lot area. So it has not been blocked. And the comment says, nothing like parking next to the Merrimack River. I know that there was just some seedlings planted, 100 seedlings, which is wonderful, but I don't know why those weren't used to revegetate that parking area.
All right, if I may comment.
I think to do it fairly, would you like to go last? I mean,
It's
Looking for your
important.
feedback, let everyone go once, everyone have a chance, and then you can rebut last. We'll reserve that for you.
I
That
feel-
seems like the most orderly way to do it, right?
I feel there's a piece of information that will clarify everything.
All right, tackle that briefly. And
So we had 2 work days so far this year to move those rocks. At first we moved the rocks from that was blocking that road over to the end to block that. And then we moved more rocks on, I believe it was the 9th, to block off another portion of it. So we need to have another work day to finish it up. It's just we haven't had the chance to do it. We haven't had the resources to the rocks. The only rocks we have left to use are covered in knotweed right now. So we're kind of in a predicament that should we move these and risk spreading the knotweed? We do want to block it off. It's just of those 2 things. But we did successfully block off the trail network from being driven down from those 2 moves. And we planted all those seedlings on the ruts that are not the official trail. And we put up some chicken wire and some metal posts to block it off for ATVs while those catch on. So, yeah.
okay, I thank you for that. Let's just do it orderly. I'll give everyone a chance if you want to say something on this matter. We don't have many items here that we don't agree, so I want to make sure everyone has a chance to say something. We'll come to you last, Mike. We'll just go around the room. Gage?
So while these are being blocked off, are people still down there parking?
We don't have signs to put up. Well, there's signs up right at the entrance of that road, but they just ignore it. So
I just went there over the weekend and you can just drive straight through, which is clearly what is in the pictures, and that's what is being encouraged because it's in the pictures. You may not be able to block off the parking lot, but you could definitely block off that circle there. The circle that you and Commissioner Trippett asked many meetings, that's what you wanted. That could easily be blocked off. I could come up with something and block that. I mean, you could put your chicken wire across there so that you may not be able to block the other way, but you could still block that. And we've talked about this at so many meetings and it's been a year. I just don't understand why it's being encouraged and it hasn't been stopped like this. And I just feel like you're not performing your duties, and neither Commissioner Trippett, and you 2 are the only ones with the connection to Scholar.
Gage, did you have more of a question?
I'm concerned about the fact that we've been told that the deed says we can't park there. But to me, it means it's an enforceable event. So if we're seeing cars down there, we should be calling the police. And again, so he's got pictures of cars down there. I mean, that's an enforceable event.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to be the one saying that we're doing things, against the law on purpose. I think we need to be bringing this up to Tim Thompson and letting him deal through the police station to have these issues addressed directly.
Mm-hmm. Certainly, it'll, at a minimum, we'll need to address additional signing down there.
Yeah. I mean, worst comes to worst is, 2 posts on a chain for an interim period of time.
Mm-hmm. Ellen?
Commissioner Druin, who's the admin for your Facebook page?
it is me.
Is there anyone else?
There's no one else.
Does anything go up there without your knowing it?
No.
I saw those pictures too, and I thought, what the heck? I have managed a lot of social media for a lot of nonprofits. When you want more of something, you post pictures of it. And seeing the pictures of the parking by the river made me wonder what I'd missed. So I am puzzled. I'm puzzled by that. We all agree that Sklar is an asset to the town. We all agree that the volunteers there have done an amazing job in just getting the ATVs to getting the ATVs off has been good. But the parking is puzzling me. Something that's been brought up, I know that Commissioner Trippett in one of his other activities in town pointed out he was concerned about making sure that the Conservation Commission provided access for people with limited mobility. I would rather that be considered in an integrated way with the rest of SCLAR. I'm sorry that he's not here this evening. To bring that up while we're talking about parking makes me think, okay, what's going on here? Are we talking about letting cars down by the river, or are we going to talk about access for people with limited mobility? I'm afraid it comes down to cars by the river. But whether I'm right or wrong, I am afraid that the public, the social media showing the cars by the river is undermining the efforts to abide by the deed.
Mike?
I appreciate the courage of my fellow members here. What they're saying is part of the reason why I left the subcommittee, the SCLAR subcommittee, as their rep. So in some ways, I thought I failed in that regard. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this. I won't be voting. I'll be abstaining from this vote.
I think I felt embarrassed. I've seen at least 3 resignations from subcommittee members of SCLAR that indicated that the environment, the culture might be one that's divisive, caustic. And I certainly feel like there's been this adversarial relationship between us and the subcommittee, which is, it hurts to get that feedback. And I'm copied on those resignations when those subcommittee members, resign, and I followed up and tried to talk them back into it. But these are volunteers with huge hearts, and I'm certainly not impugning the entire subcommittee. But yeah, it saddens me when I get that kind of feedback, and I've reached out and got additional, had additional dialogue to see if something can work here. But I think that has been the trend I've seen. So I guess my sympathies are similar to the other members. Eric?
I was unaware this was kind of a thing. So I don't have a Facebook page. I don't know what's going on Facebook. So I really don't have much to say on this matter. I will say that if there's actual like a legal risk and we're violating the deed, then something has to be done. But I don't really know enough about this situation to vote one way or another. So I guess I have to abstain.
So I think, Steve, you hit the nail on the head. I think the points that Commissioner Glenn brought up are symptoms of a larger issue, and that's the adversarial relationship between the SCLAR subcommittee and the Conservation Commission. And I do think, Mike, I think you have bred that relationship. I don't think you're the sole owner of that, but I do think you played a part in that. And I think as a commissioner, you should be supporting the position of the commission. So as I said on town council, I'm not always on the winning side of the vote. But when I walk out of town council, I always support what the town council decides. And I said it here tonight, it's the will of the commission, right? It's not my will. It's not what I want. It's the will of the commission. And I don't think you've always honored that. I think sometimes this commission has voted against what you wanted personally down at SCLAR, and that has bred into that adversarial type relationship. So I think you're a major player in that. And again, I think Commissioner Glenn's comments on the parking is a symptom of that larger relationship issue. And for that reason, I won't be supporting your reappointment to the SCLAR subcommittee.
Mike, it's your turn.
All right. So that was a rough start, but I can assure you, and you can talk with every member of the subcommittee right now, that we're a team, we get things done, and we're basically family. In December, we all went to the Tomahawk Tavern on my dime, me and Dave's. Brought every one of them. We treat them well. Everybody participates. Everybody brings their ideas and they're honored. Me and Dave were just re-elected as chair and vice chair. That says something. It's not, I don't know the word for it. It's not a hostile workplace. Now, for those rocks, we've had rocks blocking those trails for years, and people kept moving them. Kept moving them over and over. Mike knows. So we need large boulders to put there. That's the only way to do it. They'll just move it. You put a chain across, they'll cut it like they did the picnic table chains. Stole the chain. We can only move as fast as we have the resources to do so. We rely on volunteer labor, volunteer machine. So Mark, who lends us his machine, has his own company. He can't do it all the time. You know, I do the best I can, personally. I feel like I've led it successfully. It's the only subcommittee that meets monthly. It is the only subcommittee with a line waiting to join it. And we try to do what the commission says. But again, that parking area cannot be blocked off until we get the resources to do it. That's not going to take small boulders. That's going to take DPW down there bringing boulders. Or we're going to have to move that knotweed to do it and break the bank. It's not a simple thing. You know, I come here, I have excellent attendance in both the subcommittee and here, probably the best attendance. I participate in events. The last two winter carnivals, I participated, I held down the fort. You know, I do a lot outside of this, native plant trust. I'm pushing on those invasives. I've organized the 603 day event between the Merrimack River Watershed Council and the Movement Church and all the other volunteers. Gonna have 30 people down there getting rid of the burning bush. You know, I've gone above and beyond. So sure, I have my problems, but you can't say I'm ineffective. You can't say I'm bad. You know, you guys are going to vote the way you're going to vote, but I have the confidence of the subcommittee as their re-elected chair, and I have the confidence of everyone who follows Sklar. So I advocate for myself to be renewed. And I was never the MCC representative either. There hasn't been one since Mike resigned.
I have the minutes to show that you were elected as the MCC representative.
I thought Dave was the rep.
There was a meeting that they asked about Dave being the rep. The next meeting when we actually voted, it was voted for Mike to be the rep.
I wasn't aware of that.
All right, I think we've all had an opportunity to ask a question. Mike's had an opportunity to review any of those points.
It's the relationship between the Sklar Subcommittee and the Conservation Commission. I understand there's, struggle for resources. I totally get that. But for me, the part that I can't get over with is the relationship between the Sklar Subcommittee and the Conservation Commission, and how when, issues would get brought up here, the Conservation Commission would vote, and the spirit of that vote wasn't taken back to the Sklar Subcommittee. That's the problem I have. So I don't doubt the effort you put into it and everything you've done. But to Commissioner Glenn's point, I'm not so sure that you've upheld the oath you've taken to the Conservation Commission.
Now, over the past year, I've really toned down things, right? Real calm. I heard that was an issue before, and I certainly pretty much fixed it. There's been no issue this whole year so far.
Except illegal parking.
Again, there's nothing we can do about it. We've had people going through the woods.
Except you cannot park there.
You're encouraging it.
I posted that picture of that area and by the river many times throughout the years. It's just showing that people are using it.
You're encouraging.
That's not my intention, though.
May 13th, nothing like parking next to the Merrimack River and fishing with like-minded people.
I wasn't
1, 2,
fishing,
3,
to be
4
honest.
cars.
But there's nothing I can do about the cars. I've
You can
personally,
stop encouraging it.
I personally brought a license plate that fell off a car that was off-roading to the police. They called them up. The guy said, "Oh, my friend was driving," and nothing was done. I've done it multiple times. Nothing. So what am I supposed to do? Keep wasting our time to go report it? I'm already there almost every day, maintaining the property, cleaning up trash.
You could still do that, but you're not going to be the MCC rep if we don't vote for you to be the MCC
I
rep.
don't
That's
wanna be
the
the
only
MCC
thing that
rep.
we're,
I didn't ask for it.
well, that's what we're voting on right now.
So,
feel
If
like
you
at the end
say
of-
you don't want it, I can withdraw the motion, but if
I-
you want the motion to be up for a vote, then say you want the motion to be up for a
I
vote.
don't want to be the MCC rep. I just want to renew my term on the thing.
Well,
Well,
the
that's
motion I
not
made was for you to
listed.
be the MCC rep.
Oh, well, I don't want it.
Well, your
You
term's
can-
not on here. You're on it because you're an MCC.
So my term was reduced last year for some reason. It was probably this. It was reduced by 1 year, so it expired this time, unless you restore the original term.
The motion on the floor, which is the only thing I know about parliamentary here, because I made it, is that you be named the MCC representative to Sklar.
Oh, I don't want it. Yeah.
To
I will
do,
withdraw my motion in respect of Mr. Druin's wishes then.
Oh, thank you.
okay.
Well, I guess we'll have to check, but if you're not the MCC rep, you can't be the chair.
What?
If you're not a member of the subcommittee.
No, I want to be member of the subcommittee. I just don't want to be the
So
rep.
we're restating the motion. A motion that Michael Druin,
I withdrew my motion, so the table is open for anybody who wants to make another one. I will record it as it's dictated.
Mike's an alternate, so he can't make the motion. Are you saying you want us to make a motion to make you a full-time member? Which I will vote against, of course, but
Yeah, it's
I mean,
just a.
and can we? Because it's
I,
not on the
I was
agenda.
originally
I don't know.
on a 3-year term on Sklar, and it was reduced by a year last year for whatever reason. So you can just restore the original term.
I think that
So-
ship is sailed. I think
Yeah.
everything we've been provided says your term ends in 40 days. So do you want a motion to be?
I want
Alright.
a motion.
I make a motion, Michael Druin, be a full-time member of the Scholar Subcommittee with an expiration date of 6/30/24.
Mike Druin, full member, Scholar Subcommittee, expiration 6/24.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would that be restoring the original or a 3-year term?
No, that it's just as I said it. 1 year, full member, 6/24. Does anyone second that motion? Andy seconded. Is there any discussion that we need that we haven't had already? No? Seeing no hands, all in favor of that motion? Seeing no voting members in favor, all opposed? Okay, and Eric, you're abstaining.
I'm staying.
And Mike, I'm sorry, Mike. So motion carries 5-0, or 0, motion does not pass, 0-5 with 2 abstentions.
I'm sorry. 0. I thought I saw Mike's hand.
He's not voting.
0. Thank you. And that was, I need to mention the abstentions, Andy and Mike.
So Cindy,
Eric and Mike.
Eric.
Eric.
Cindy, you elected to do these individually. Do you want to do one more as an individual?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead.
Page, thank you. Okay. Oh, it's right up here. Okay, make a motion to appoint Dave Trippett to the Scholar Subcommittee as a full member for a term to expire 6/30/2024. Oh, and they were doing this because of the staggering. Right.
I second for the purpose of discussion.
And I stand by my,
Any further discussion
Previous
needed
discussion.
on this?
Just for the record, I will not be supporting this nomination either due to the comments about the Merrimack Conservation Commission that has been made over social media for the last 90 plus days. And for that reason, I won't be supporting this nomination.
Anyone else?
Similar to Andy's comments, the relationship, adversarial relationship that is fostered there, I can't support that.
Again, this is not something I keep track of. What are these comments? Can someone inform me what these comments were?
I'm not comfortable briefing you on, I don't have social media either.
I have a couple of screenshots, but I don't know that putting them up during the meeting is appropriate. But I will say I reluctantly endorse what Andy said. I know that not everyone in town uses social media or is on Facebook, but some of the posts, especially leading up to the election, I thought did not reflect accurately what was going on within the committee. And I appreciate collegiality. I like working with committee members, but this was a problem.
Anyone else? All right. Vote to approve the motion. Anyone in favor, say aye. Those opposed? All right, and Eric and Mike abstain, so motion does not pass, 0-5 with 2 abstentions, Mike Boisvert and Eric. Do we need to, Cindy, I'll leave it to you. Do we need to do these singularly or can we lump the last three?
I'm okay to lump the last three. Okay, do it. I make a motion to appoint to the Scholar Subcommittee Karen Melee as a full member for a term to expire on June 30th, 2026. For Allison Mitchell as an alternate member, term to expire June 30th, 2026. And Derek Trippett as an alternate member, term to expire June 30th, 2024.
I second. Is there any discussion needed for any of these three? No,
Just
seeing-
that I do appreciate everything that all the volunteers are doing down there. I know it's a lot of work.
We all echo that sentiment. All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. All right, final, is there another agenda item? Andrea? Do we do you for Greater Woods?
Yes, that was part
That
of
was part of his, okay.
Yeah.
What is this final item on here then?
So as it currently sits, we don't have an MCC representative now to Sklar.
That's what I understand.
I only have a month left now.
We don't have to resolve that tonight.
Okay, right, agreed.
Agreed?
Let's table
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Did I hear
technically
you
this is
making a
until
motion to
June
table
30th
that
anyway,
Yes, so make a motion to table the MCC rep assignment to Scholar Subcommittee.
Second?
Did we want to put a date on that? I think if you don't put a date in it and you
Yeah.
table it, it kills it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, want to do 1 month?
Yes.
Not next meeting, but the meeting after that, so there can be some.
Mhm. Good idea.
So
The 26th?
June 26th.
Table to June 26th, the assignment of an MCC rep to Sklar, and who made that?
Second as amended.
I made the motion.
Mike made it.
And then the second was,
Me.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. That brings us to the approval of the minutes. The minutes for April 10th, 2023 meeting.
Can I ask one question of Mike first? When you approach the town, could you ask them about barriers, like a Jersey barriers or whatever they have available? If
For
it's-
Scholar?
Yeah, I mean, if that's all it's keeping us from keeping cars down there.
I know there's some pretty big boulders down there.
Yeah,
You know,
and
the town brought some big boulders
Yeah.
down there.
so if they have something that's available that we can put across that opening, that would be,
Yeah.
even if it's at some cost to us, we're legally bound to protect that waterfront, so I'd like to make sure we're doing our part. Thank you.
We have the minutes?
The one with the feedback, it's, what's that?
Oh, did you get a motion on?
I move that we
I know.
accept the minutes, sorry, press play. I move that we accept the minutes of the Merrimack Conservation Commission from April 10th with the following amendments, and I have none.
I'll second that. And the only one I had was on page 3, line 110, row 110. Since there wasn't an abstain, wouldn't that be 601?
601 on line 110, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's all I have.
And I have to list anybody who abstains with, who was that?
Oh, yeah, you did listen.
Thank you,
Yep.
thank you.
Anyone else have modifications, amendments to the minutes? No? All right.
We're nice and clean.
They
Yeah.
were.
Yep,
All,
she was good, yeah. Good job.
all in favor of accepting the minutes as amended? Motion carries 7-0. Someone like to make a final motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Cindy, second by Gage. All those in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.